Okay, here we go for part 3. Where we left off was pulled the clutch housing off and input planetary, and we found that we had some damage on the input planetary. I was going to open this door over here, but anyway, these clutches here too. Now, a guy had made a comment, and I'm not trying to be rude to the guy, but like the 4440s, the input planetary was bronze, but this one's not on this 4050. It's just, you know, people make comments, but sometimes they think I guess they think every damn tractor is the same. I don't know. Anyway, as you can see now, and he might be partially right, and we're gonna have to check it. And it's a very good possibility that, you know, a lot of that material that we're seeing in there might be from the brake linings as well. But the reason that I decided to go with the power shift disassembling it, I knew there was something wrong with that. Maybe I didn't explain that well enough beforehand, but when the tractor would move cold, I put my foot on the brake. Even with good pressure, when the engine was cold, when the oil was cold and it had enough pressure to engage the clutch, it was slipping. I could stop it with the brake pedal. I knew I had clutches in the transmission slipping. That's why I went ahead and disassembled the transmission. And as you can see here, see how this is delaminated here? It's gone. Part of your friction material's gone here. So we'll keep going on this. It's one of those deals to where, yeah, you're gonna have a whole bunch of stuff torn apart, and we might be pulling the brake and the finals and everything out of it too, and replacing the linings on that as well. And then, you know, we got to clean all this crap out of here. Look at that. So, you know, I can't say that this guy, I think it was Jim. I wasn't trying to be rude when I said you're wrong, but you're not 100% wrong. Maybe that's my fault. Maybe I didn't give you the full details on the reason I decided to go ahead and disassemble the power shift. You guys remember that case, that old 2390 I did? Well, that was kind of the same situation on that tractor. It pretty much had everything delaminated on it. And anyway, these O-rings go in there. I'll have to order all this stuff when I get to that point. I got a bunch of stuff wrote down for a list, but we got to keep going here and get a complete parts list for this thing. So now we're going to try to clean this off a little better. Blow this off, clean it off. We got to get the rock shaft housing off of it is our next step. This wire harness, this is for your lights. This tractor actually was set up pretty nice for what it was. So yeah, where did that go? I remember now where that went. That was, where in the hell did that go? I guess we'll find out when we're going back together, because I'm not really recalling that. We got a lot of cleanup to do on this, so these things are a lot of work. There's no kidding. It's a lot of work. Might as well go ahead and let's see here. We've got to start pulling rock shaft off. So we know that this wiring harness here basically needs to come back and out of the way. We'll unbolt it here. It's kind of in our way. Or can we leave it on there? Let's see, what do we got here? I guess we can just pull it off right there and just pull it out of our way. It'd probably be the easiest, but we've got to pull these lines loose here. Basically everything associated with the rock shaft has to come loose. I'm trying to think out loud here what I want to do here. This is an assist cylinder is what this is for the hitch. This thing hasn't been apart in so long that I probably won't try to attempt to disassemble it right here, because that might not be so much fun. But I think what I'm going to do is disassemble it, pull this pins out, drop the draft arms down. How about the help cylinder here? Got a big nut on this side. I wonder if a guy can just take the nut loose and see if the pin will come out. and leave it on there. Well, I guess we'll just start crossing these bridges as we approach them, and figure out what we're going to do from there. This arm here is a real pain in the ass. When you go back together, this arm right here is just a pain in the ass. There's nothing else to be said about it. I mean, it's a son of a bitch getting it back together right. And I remember every time I pop the E-clip loose on this one, I lose that bastard every single time. So I'm just gonna kind of leave it laying right there. This line here can stay on. This one here is gonna have to completely come off. I'll have to cut this tire here, but well, let's get after it. I'm gonna open this door, and the sun's rising up there in the east, so it's a little bit better on this side of the building anyway, but once it gets over the top, it kind of gets a little bit nipply. I don't know what's the temperature right now. It was like 17 this morning, but it's later in the day now, so
how safe are you and your family?
I don't give a shit. Hang on. It's up to 30, so it's plenty warm. Now let's go ahead and open the door and let the sun in. Oh, shit's froze down. Oh, that ain't happening, so maybe not, huh? The door's froze down. I think I'll leave it alone. My back's already bothering me. I don't have a back problem. Every once in a while, if I sleep the wrong way or something, I'll get up in the morning, it'll be bothering me, and by the end of the day, usually it's okay. So usually happens I'll usually have a little back trouble in the mornings or something like this, especially in the wintertime. It'll be kind of maybe a biannual thing. Anyways, all right, we'll get going. I sure thought it was all the way out already. Well, that was just in that one bolt that's buried way down in here. Where in the hell are we looking at here? That's the front of the rock shaft. We want to look at the back. This one down in here I'd taken it loose, but I just didn't take it all the way out. Alright, so obviously we're going to need a rock shaft housing gasket, but you can see this oil line, this yoke here, is a pain in the ass. But this line here has to come loose, and then this bearing quill has to come off to lift this clutch pack out of there. I wonder if there's a possibility that you might be able to see some. I don't think you can see any brake lining from there, I don't think. There are some openings here that you can look through. I don't think I can see much. It's hard to tell. They're probably completely gone, more than likely, but they definitely probably contributed to our problem. I mean, gear train wise, the tractor's probably more than likely going to be just fine. It's just going to be delaminated brake material, delaminated clutches, just labor intensive just fixing it though. So, well, it's lunchtime, but we'll have to pull this trough off right here, pull this line off, and then work that bearing quill out. It's not very much fun doing it. I don't remember how I did that, to be honest with you. I have to get in the book and read that carefully. Hi, Bubba. Well, we're back at her. So I was eating lunch and I heard a Dodge pickup. I could hear it was a Cummins, you know, and I walked out there. And last winter, an old guy named Walt Rogers down in Los Molinas, California. He owns an orchard, but he does a lot of contracting work too. I think his kid builds these Dollar Generals. Well, they were up here building those Dollar Generals, and they'd stopped by here one day, and their water pump had went out on that Dodge pickup. And I put a water pump in them, and I got to bullshitting with him. And because there was a cat sitting here, and Walt says, yeah, I got a D4H that I got real cheap off a guy, and he says, some of the bitch is overheating, and they've had 3 or 4 different people look at it, and they can't figure out why it's overheating anyway. We found out that the thermostat was the problem with the damn thing. Somebody had pulled I had went down there. I drove down to Los Molinas. I did quite a bit of work on that. We tore it apart one day, and we did some pressure tests with the I'm trying to remember what we did. We changed the transmission pump on it, is what we wound up doing. We changed it wasn't quite right. No, what was the deal? We did the pressure test on it, and the pressure test passed, but what was happening there is the input on that pump was leaking, and he said, I'm just getting another pump. He said, I've got too much, I want this thing to work right. I said, okay. Well, then we kept running it that day, and I pulled the upper radiator hose off because the transmission was getting hot, and everybody was looking at the wrong thing. They were looking at the transmission end of it, which is, you do sometimes, but I said, man, you got to look at your engine cooling system. If your engine cooling system isn't right, I said, that thing is never going to run cool back there. So anyways, we pulled the upper, and somebody had to remove the thermostat on it, and we put a thermostat, sealed it up, put water in it, put a new pump in it, put it back together, and he uses it all the time now. So anyway, that being said, everybody doesn't think I'm a piece of shit. So anyway, Walt came by. This is out of his orchard. These are persimmons. These are God, what are these? He told me, and I can't remember now. I can't remember if those. I can't remember what kind of nuts those are. Somebody will look at them and know. But I'm gonna eat some of these in a little bit, actually. And pomegranates here. These are pomegranates. So, anyways, pretty cool guys, man. Anyway, we gotta see what's going on here. Who's calling me? Am I going to answer this? Oh, this guy's a pain in the ass. So anyway, no, Walt is a really good guy. Trying to remember what I did on this thing. So this runs off what this does, this is the feedback arm on your rock shaft. It has to have a way of knowing where it's at. So, I think I unbolted. How did I do that? I think I unhooked that rock shaft from down here to get this the rest of the way out is what I ended up doing, if I remember correctly. This feedback arm, but I don't know, we'll look in the book. Anyway, Walt, he's a hell of a good guy. He's got a D7E down there, and when I was down there, we'd found it wasn't getting any spark on the magneto, and I said, your mag's no good. And anyway, he wants me to, he's been looking ever since. That's been almost a year, and he said he can't find one. He said, see if you can locate one for me. I said, well, I might be able to find one. I says, but if we don't, you're probably going to have to switch it over to direct start to make that thing run. And it's not a direct drive cat, it's a power shift, so that's another thing. That's the only bad thing about them power shifts. You couldn't pull start them, you know, with a torque converter. So anyway, let me cross this bridge of, I know that's got to come loose, this drip tray here, and we got to get this bearing quill back, this one too. We got to take these bolts out right here, so we could probably go ahead and do that. So this book doesn't tell you shit about that feedback arm for that hitch. It doesn't say a damn thing about that. So I do remember the last one I did, which has been quite a few years ago, to be honest with you. Don't see that many of these anymore. I don't remember doing this to the 4850 though. That's what I don't remember. I'm trying to remember which one I did this to. Down here is 3 bolts that hold this in place. So I'm trying to get on them. Get them loose. They're not the easiest to get to. Okay, that's why I got a wobble socket there. Okay, now am I going to be able to get on that one? I think so. Okay, now that feedback arm is loose. It's still in a tight situation, even getting that off. Nope, and you can't get it out without pulling the rear end out of it. Trying to get my socket back. Okay, so here we go. What can we do here? What can we do? I think I went back like that or something. I don't 100% remember, but I remember I jockeyed it around enough to where I could get it out of there. So we got to get that line loose, which is easier to get now because this son of a bitch here is out of the way. We got to get that line loose down there. And then these 3 bolts that hold the, well, it's going to hold this trough, this drip trough, and then this bearing quill. I think that's 1 inch, or did I guess wrong? I guessed right on that. You still not wanting to. Let me guess, the whole thing's turning. Yep, the whole thing's turning. And I remember now I had to take an air hammer to get it loose because the whole damn thing turns, and you can't hold, there's no room in there to hold one and turn the other. Take this here air hammer and get down in there. I think I can reach that with the air hammer. I take a blunt end on the air hammer. Don't really want a sharp end. You're looking just basically for that vibration to hit one of those flats and loosen the nut up on that fitting. Ring and pinion looks really good in this tractor. I think it'll come loose now. Maybe my hand. Yep, she's coming loose now. So that's kind of the. I remember when I first started doing YouTube videos, and I was working on a bunch of John Deere's when I first started doing YouTube. One of my biggest accounts for all the John Deere stuff, he's dead. So I lost a lot. I still work on a lot of John Deere's. That's probably. I work between ISX Cummins and John Deere tractors. That's probably the main two things I work on the most. So that's just what there is around here. People are not very intelligent when they make comments like, "Oh, them John Deere's, they must be fucking junk, because that's all you work on." No, because that's all there is, stupid. It's just, people cannot think before they talk. Anyway, so back to what I was thinking about there. I had some fittings on the 8420T or something I was pulling off, and some guy got on there, "That's really unprofessional using that and getting those lines loose like that." Well, you go ahead and sit there and struggle for fucking 2 hours trying to break that loose. I'll have it loose and be on to the next thing in about 5 seconds. There's a heavy equipment mechanic back east named Jim that I've made pretty good friends with over the phone since I've been doing YouTube. I talk to him 2 or 3 times a week. He's a hell of a good guy. He's just one of them guys that's a pleasure to talk to. You know, he's a good son of a bitch. Anyway, Jim says, "I saw you do that." He says, "I've been doing that for years since you showed me that." He goes, I don't sit there and struggle and fight them damn fittings anymore. I just take that damn air hammer and hit it on the flat, and that son of a bitch comes right loose." I said, "Yeah, exactly. Why would you sit there and just fight that thing forever? You know, trying to get it loose, and when you could just, and that's it. You're done." Oh, trust me, I used to get in some of these hard to get to spots and trying to get some of these fittings loose. I mean, my gosh, it was not fun. These are 5/8, aren't they? My wrist is kind of bothering me too today, so I don't know what the hell. I just had a normal day at work yesterday. I didn't really do anything. I didn't jump off a plane or jump out of a plane or anything. Or I'm thinking, why am I hurting so bad today? What did they do? Put Loctite on this bastard or what? Past that, you gotta get it past that arm. Yeah, okay. Not fun. Okay, so we got another bolt down in here. Here's where a guy needs to be careful that he doesn't back this one bolt out with the box end of the wrench and trap his wrench between the ring gear. And not too bad on a regular wrench, And on a gear wrench, once you get them backed out and you get stuck like that, oh shit, man. That's a screw up. I'm gonna have to go get an open end and see how far I can come out with that bolt. Man, I don't remember that part, but let me go get an open end wrench because I'll show you where that bolt is right up against the ring gear. I think I got it out the last time. I had to thread that out and right through one of the tooths or something. I don't remember. Got her loose. Now there's, of course, this is shimmed. Okay. I get all my shims off of there. Okay, all the shims are loose. Now I'm gonna get the shaft out of it. Alright, so I normally, the book tells you to take a slide hammer and thread in the end of the shaft in here, but you can't get it in here unless you got the, I guess, the perfect slide hammer made for it, because I've got slide hammers, they're like 4 of them, and they're all too long to fit in there. So what I do is I already got the bearing race off. Let's see, I'm going to tap on it from the front side just a little more. And you don't got to hit it very hard. It comes out fairly easy. My punch decided to jam itself in there. Hang on a second. There we go, I got it. Okay, now should be able to pull this output shaft out. All right. Okay. Got to pull the front bearing quill. Okay, front bearing quill has to come out. This one right here. So there's 3 3/8 bolts on it. And then you'll see that these 2 holes are threaded, 1 on each corner. Wait a second. I guess there's 1 on each side. I thought they did them 1 on each corner, but they didn't. So it's just 1 on each side, and we'll have to thread some lifting eyes, and those look like about a 1/2 inch bolt. Here's some 1/2 inch bolts right here. And that's what they are. They're well, wait a second. No, that is like a 9/16 bolt is what that is, because that is loose in there. So, and man, I don't think I got any 9/16 bolts. I mean, where do you ever, oh wait, I do have some. Look at the clutch material clear up here on top of the planetary housing. I started pulling on it just a little bit. So it's kind of binding up a little bit on me. There's the loops. I don't know why they didn't thread 1 in each corner. It would have made way more sense to me. Okay, I'm gonna let that drain for a little bit. When you're doing these power shifts on these older John Deeres, where these nipples, these feed your clutches, okay? And there's seals down in here. Replace those. Don't forget to replace those. We gotta clean all this crap out of here. It's a lot of work. Let her drain for a while. Just way less of a mess over there on the bench. Alright, let's start disassembling this thing. Lots of parts and pieces here. Come on, baby. What to do with my little bar? Lay everything kind of in order as it came off. Alright, separator plate, obviously. A lot of return springs in these. And it might be the brake lines that might be most of the problem. Oh, there you go. See that? Big chunk of lining right there, and that's what you see in everything back there. I just take them and lay them underneath my kind of orders. They were disassembled, and I'll throw the return springs back in between them. Kind of lay everything out. And we got to pull this too apart, but I could probably go ahead and do that. Your planetary sets in here, and there's another clutch pack in here too. I got to get a 1/2-inch socket though. I don't think I got one of those out yet. Yeah, there's a pretty elaborate planetary in here, but like if you do like a cat, like even a newer D5 with a power shift, they're simple compared to these. They're only doing 3 speeds on those. These are all Loctited, so car really wants to Loctite them when he goes back together. It's pretty obvious the way these go. They've got lock tangs where they go in the center here. Let's see here. Okay, so here's some. I'm not sure the proper way to say this. You can say these are Belleville springs or Belleville springs. there they are. Clutch piston is in here. Clutch, that basically returns the clutch piston. Keeps clutch drag from happening. A lot of parts and pieces here, so I just want to stack things back up kind of the way they came out. That way there's not too much confusion going back together. I've got the service manual and everything, so but definitely want to pay attention when you're going back together. It would definitely behoove you. Clutch pack. Okay, pressure plate. I think this hub here will come out of the center. And you can just kind of pull the whole pack out. And we'll start looking at these. That one's burnt. Well, this thing definitely needed to be done. So you see where that one's burnt, the steel is? And you see the cross hatches on the material here. You can see there's no material left on this one. It's gone. Both sides are almost completely gone. Here's another one that's burnt. This one has no material on it on one side. Other side does. This one's obviously completely gone. No material where it's actually ground into it. This one as well. Okay, so we'll keep it rolling along here. There's a thrust washer right here. I'm going to take that thrust washer and maybe I'll just leave it right there for now. Oh, Bubba. Dookie. What's up, buddy? I know, terrible being an old dog, ain't it? It's just terrible, isn't it? Gotta get this thing separated, partner. And it gets kind of stuck on the dowels, there's what happens. Trying to find the right spot here. And I'm not really finding it. I forgot about that. You can take that off. Just throw all this shit back in here. Put that on there, and then all that stuff kind of goes together. Okay, so I gotta get me a skinny or a screwdriver or something to wedge this apart. Okay, let me get some of this stuff out of my way. I kind of got it broke free from the dowels, so it should come apart now, hopefully. We've got actually two clutch packs here. Alright. You can actually pull these all out right here. So let's get over here, get a little bit closer, and we'll try to get this one separated. She's being an ornery bitch. she's being a little ornery. A little bit ornery. Okay. Mr. Hardass. There we go. All the return springs are coming out now. Man, I am kind of getting hot, you know? Okay. Return springs. Those all go to this pack. God, this thing was in pretty fucking rough shape. See, there's no... It's got down into the metal on this friction. Look where it's absolutely slipped on this steel plate and burnt this steel plate bad. Look at that. This thing is garbage. Here, this one here is completely toast. Nothing left of it. No friction material at all left on it. Who knows how many thousands of hours this thing has got on it. Here same story. Same story. Okay, you're gonna have a ring gear right in here, and probably leave that ring gear right there. I'll take all these and gonna, well, what I can do is take that, just kind of, just so I know when I'm going back together. There's lots of parts and pieces here. Obviously we should have a steel plate next. Friction. This will be a complete power shift rebuild on this one. Okay. I don't know why I'm winding up with more frictions. I gotta do something wrong. Anyway, no big deal. Go back together. We'll sort all that out. Take these turn springs, throw them in there. And then this can go here. That section goes there. Here's our other section here. Same song and dance. Here is our planetary setup I was telling you about. This is why they call it a planetary power shift transmission. Look at this planetary really close. See what it looks like on all the gear train. Make sure you don't lose that. Planetary looks really, really good. Good. So, I mean, it's just going to be labor intensive as far as frictions, but parts wise, I don't think it's going to be that, you know, that expensive really. And because the gear train itself, because I've run into a lot of these, the gear train was totally dicked up. Okay. Same old song and dance. I mean, it's very repetitive. Let's just look at this over here. Return springs, of course. That's why I wound up with the wrong. I forgot. It has the return plate on the end. And then there's a steel, and then a friction. There's only one friction on this one, so that one's pretty simple. This ring here and this piece here. All these springs can go in between that one. That'll go back together in that order. And she's hung up on this one dowel right here. Ring gear. Let's see, there's two of them here. That ring gear goes to that one, and that one goes to that one. Okay. That one doesn't look too bad, but it ain't too good. And then of course your clutch pistons are in here, which I failed to mention before, but I missed that one there, didn't I? So anyways, we'll get all new seals for these clutch pistons, just basically where the feeds are. You can see where the feeds are. Let's see on this one, where is the feed at? Well, it's coming in through here. Let's see. I'm trying to eyeball it. How come I'm not seeing it? I don't know why I'm not seeing the feed hole. Oh, it's right here, I think. Anyway, there's going to be a feed for it somewhere. I don't know why I'm not seeing that, but to pop the clutch piston out, there's got to be something that puts his oil. Wouldn't you think it'd be on the back side of that? Here's another one of those clips that goes on those return spring pin deals there. I don't remember where that thing gets its oil at. I am drawing a blank for some reason. Anyway, there's clutch piston in there. There's going to be another one in this one, another one in this one, another one in this one, there's one in this one. So there's a lot of work to do. I mean, basically it just needs frictions and steels and new clutch piston seals, and put it all back together. Not too bad, really. Yeah, I've seen a lot worse, I'll tell you that. So, anyway, I'm going to get a parts list together and call and start ordering stuff here. And I still need to take this. I mean, it's probably really worthwhile, I would think, to take this off and separate it and look at it and make sure that it's going to be okay, you know. So, well guys, guess that's all I can do for now. We've pretty well got it gutted. I got the clutch housing and the rock shaft over here. I'm gonna just take the pallet jack back over here and pick it up and pack it out there on the pad and clean it all off and wash it all down. So, I mean, I'm thinking about separating the PTO drive gear as well, and taking the clutches out of that, because these potato guys, they use the hell out of these tractors. I mean, they'll use the PTO, they'll use everything on them. So where is the PTO? Right here. Here's our PTO drive gear right here. So basically just take these bolts out and separate that thing, and then your clutch pack is right in there. Obviously you got to get the gear and everything separated from it, and we'll just look at those too. But I might just order the frictions and seals and the seals for it anyway, you know.